What a lovely show we've got today.
It is.
I mean,
It's been jam-packed.
It doesn't get much more fun, really. Welcome back. Our next guest has been entertaining us for almost 60 years as a comedy legend, best-selling author and travel expert.
Yeah, and today Sir Michael Palin has stopped by to talk about his latest project, his book, Great Uncle Harry, A Tale of War and Empire, which is out in paperback now. It's lovely to have you on the show.
Nice to be here.
Michael.
Picked up lots of cooking tips
yes.
already.
You know how to excite
I can't
your
even boil water, you know, and that's my base.
Are you not much of a chef?
No, I love food, but I don't have the skill that Jamie and people like that do to make it. But I will one day. Well,
so
I'm working up to the moment, and I
He'll happily eat it.
What would be your go-to dish if you were going to make something?
well, risotto. I love risotto.
That sounds exotic to me.
Pea and what's the word? Asparagus risotto.
Oh, delicious.
I'm going to get that done.
Going to get that done.
That sounds
one day,
exciting.
but whenever I cook anything, the children just laugh at me. What's that?
Nothing like a bit of encouragement.
That is herring sauce. Oh, you made that up. Come on, you're joking.
Now, Michael, we met before when you got the hardback copy of Great Uncle Harry, but this is the paperback version.
Was Great Uncle Harry a good cook, do you think? He seems like a pretty resourceful man.
Best of what he
I haven't found any evidence of that yet. But he obviously liked being with the guys. I think he was probably a better drinker than an eater.
Right,
but I don't know. That could be doing him a disservice.
But it all started with one photograph, essentially, didn't it?
Which is basically what the cover is. I found that photograph in a frame and some stuff that an aunt had sent to us and all that. And I couldn't get any information on him. I asked, the family, and they said, oh, he died in the First World War. And that was it. And because he was kind of anonymous, and yet there was something about his face and the look that made me feel I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
And I should know more about him, just because he's dismissed because he died young.
Yeah.
And then to find out that he kept these diaries throughout the Gallipoli War and on the Somme, which gave you an idea of exactly what it was like to be in the middle of the fighting. That was a great resource. I mean, he's not a great writer. He's not Wilfred Owen or anything like that. But from day to day, you get a real feeling of what it must have been like there, risking your life every day.
And more than anything, he brings to life the war in a very human way. You realise the futility of it. And I think there's one moment in the book where he talks about we weren't doing it for king and country.
Yes.
We were doing it for the chap to the left of me and the chap to the right of me. And you suddenly go, oh, my goodness, these are boys the same age as your boys, or young men who had no idea what they were going into.
And they were misled.
Yes.
They were not told the true facts of it all. But I did learn from writing about Harry, the great thing was that Harry kept... Why do people keep going? Why do they go over the top all the time, into the guns and all that? Because they're there with their mates. It's a thing you just do. You've got your mates around you. And the time he really begins to crack up is at the end when his mates start getting killed. And he keeps a list of the number of people who will never come back. And then you feel his morale really goes, and he questions why he's doing it.
Yeah.
Amazing experience for you to be able to honour his memory as well, though, Michael, to go and do that exploring and to share what he's been through and find out, because I imagine that was very emotional for you and for the rest of the family as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting for me because I wanted to bring him to life somehow, and I wanted to get some emotional connection that wasn't a false one that I'd sort of made up. And the more I did, and the more I look at the book now and talk about it, I realised he and I had quite a bit in common.
Really?
He never settled down. He didn't like sort of official, formal life. He never worked for a big company or anything like that. He wandered around the world. But he did love travelling. And I think he was someone who never made up his mind throughout his life what he really wanted to do. And by that time, it was too late. And I'm just lucky that I've been able to wander through life without deciding what I want to do.
I was going to say,
for so long.
Still looking.
And get away with it,
Talking of travelling, the new series on Nigeria is amazing. The last time I think you were just about to go. What an adventure.
Well, I mean, I was wondering whether to do it at all because my wife died a year ago. And should I be at home and did I really want to travel again? But the travelling bug's always there. But Nigeria, people say, why are you going to Nigeria? It's corrupt, it doesn't work and all that. And I mean, it is corrupt and lots of it doesn't work, but the people there were absolutely fantastic. And I found when I went there, they're very direct. They talk to you about anything. They'll ask any questions. You can never be too rude to them. Health and safety is not a concept Nigerians have at all. So it was a rather wonderful place to work.
It's extraordinary watching it. It's a sensory overload on so many levels, but also, as you say, the directness. And that one city that you turned up to, where they had the extraordinary statue of
oh yes, people being killed.
Yeah,
British
soldiers being killed, and it's a statue. And then the woman's suddenly there, and she's giving you a hard time because she can see that you're British, and what if they did to their country.
But she gave me a very hard time, and you know that was her opinion, rightly so. You know, the British tried to move in, and the Nigerians were sort of killed and all that. So, fine, she had a point to make. But about sort of a minute after that, she was just, you know, shaking hands and very chatty.
Engaging and lovely, yeah.
I mean, they'll talk, as I say, very directly about almost anything. Whereas here we're a little bit more defensive.
Yes.
And we take a long time to break down our reserve. It takes about 3 seconds to break down the reserve of the Nigerians.
Now, by the way, there is nothing boring about a man who wants to go and explore Nigeria like that. And your old teammate from Monty Python, John Cleese, has put it out there. He thinks that you're a boring old man.
Oh, well, I mean, John is scintillating. We all know that. It's in his passport. But I really enjoy playing boring characters, and I've done a few, including the most boring man in Yorkshire, Eric Althwaite. You know, you just talk about rainfall all the time and shovels and putting a shovel next to the other one. And it really irritates people who think they're interesting. And I mean, you go back to Python and really, I always played the boring character, but John couldn't have done without me. He had to have someone selling the parrot.
Yes.
Or someone in the argument sketch to sort of play off. So I think I'm going to continue to bask in John's compliment that I'm boring. You know?
Why not?
The more boring I can be, the better.
Why
we
not?
love it.
Oh,
we
do.
love it, Michael, honestly.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh,
every
lovely,
show, every book, every comedy sketch. Thank you for coming in.
Great
and
to
thanks
see you
for
this morning.
joining
Very
us.
nice indeed. Not at all boring. It's only here. The lights are so bright and the camera... Are those cameras there?
We'll take that as a huge compliment as well.
We will. We'll be exciting vegetables.
Right then.